Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Talk on the Wild Side, your go-to space for real talk, a little laughter, and a whole lot of figuring out life together. Hi, I'm Kat, and here with me is
Amy. Hey, guys.
Hey, ready to dive into another wild and wonderful conversation. Woot woot.
Let's go.
Today we are stepping into a whole different world, the world of fitness. Whether you're just getting started or trying to stay consistent, or somewhere in between, we know that walking into a gym can be terrifying. That gymtimidation is real. You feel like everyone is staring at you. You don't know what you're doing, and suddenly every machine looks like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Are those aliens I see?
Here's the thing. Fitness is a journey, not a destination. We're talking about what inspired us to start working out, the ups and downs, the setbacks, the victories, and how fitness helped us heal physically, mentally, and emotionally. I am ready to dig into this. How about you?
Oh, yeah. So we're going to dive in with some big questions today. And we're pretty passionate about fitness.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have that in common. But the beginning, and I think that's the thing we have to look back and remember, everyone has a day one, you know. And so I think a lot of times when people walk into the gym, for me personally, I was looking at where everyone was there and comparing it to where I was coming in
So easy to do.
and not realizing that they too had a day one,
Yes.
you know? And so I feel like if we can all remember that everyone has a day one, it helps to kind of tackle that feeling of things that intimidation can cause. And sometimes for some people, it just causes them to completely halter and stop and never even get started.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we're going to kind of talk about that today because we want to help knock those walls down because it's done so much for me in my life that I just want to share those things with other people, and hopefully we can help inspire or encourage you guys to walk through the fear that that intimidation might be keeping you back, holding you back. So, all right, Kat. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and then I'll let you go ahead and start answering, and then I can follow up with an answer. So, let's see here. What brought you to your fitness journey?
My fitness journey. My fitness journey started when I was back in middle school when I was on track and field. So I was always a runner and a jumper. And we always did physical conditioning. And all through high school, I would do like the Cindy Crawford workout videotape, and I'd do it every day after school. I don't know. It was like something that was kind of just built into me, something I always knew I needed to do. No one taught me it because no one in my family works out. Like my mother and my father never worked out. They didn't encourage it. So as I got older and I got married and had children, like some people, like, most people do, sometimes we put on a little extra weight during those times. And when everything kind of slowed down with the kids kind of just, going to school and stuff like that, I was like, okay, it's time for me to start taking care of myself. And that's when I started like really going to the gym heavily and trying out techniques and entering the crazy world of all the weight loss and diet techniques. And I can just tell you just about anything you need to know almost about that stuff. But
I know for you personally, like I'm going to just intercede a little bit in this because not only do you work out at the gym, but you also are a yoga lover.
Yes, I just started that though. That was just something that happened for me a couple months ago. It's a slow journey, of course, because I never took stretching really seriously in my whole entire life. Everybody would always say, oh, after you run, stretch. Before you run, stretch. When you get up, stretch. And the importance of that, the importance of it is, it's pretty important. It's more important than, it's just as equally as important as working out, but it's a necessity because as we age, your body tightens up and you get less limber, and you don't want that to happen. So the yoga helps with that. So that's something I just incorporate. I do that at home in my office.
I love that you do that. So I'm going to join you one day on your yoga
Oh yeah, yeah.
adventures because I am not a yoga person. I have a hard time being still and being quiet. So
Yeah.
I'm working in that.
It definitely teaches you your Zen for sure. It teaches you how to breathe. So really what it does is like when you're focusing on the pose and you're holding it and you're breathing, I mean, you're really focused and you're present, and that's the allure to it. And then the stretching, I mean, it feels good to stretch. And then when you're done, you're loosened up and nothing hurts, and it just feels really good.
I've always been taught that you actually keep 50% of your workout if you stretch after working out. And a lot of people, me included, a lot of times don't really make intentional time for stretching. And to know that I'm doing the workout, but I'm not taking the whole complete workout with me when I leave, that's something to maybe stop and stretch about, you know?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely add that to your regimen, especially as you age. I mean, you want to be able to bend down and like maybe pick up your grandchild, or, pet a pet, or get down on the floor or pop back up. And if your ligaments and your muscles are so tight, just because of, a lot of us, we all sit a lot because we have computer desks, and it's tightening the muscles in the back of your legs, which doesn't give you very much flexibility for leaning over and picking up stuff. So, just taking 5-10 minutes, even, you don't have to do 30 minutes or an hour. You can just start with 10-minute stretches, and that would make like such a big difference in the world of anything.
I love it. So I love that you shared that you started as a child, because I've always just been kind of more focused on the past the years of my life. But when you said that, I realized when I was around 12 years old, I loved to also run. And I think I was running away from my problems or trying to. And so I was like Forrest Gump. I would just get out and run up and down the streets. But for me, it was like a mental escape, and it was almost therapeutic.
Well, it is.
For me.
It is. It's like you're free.
Yes.
Without flying.
Yes.
That's what running is. That's what running does for you. I mean, it doesn't do it for everybody. Some people don't really like it.
Right.
But for the people that do, it is a very free thing. You can just get on foot and you can take off and pound the pavement and go for hours and just let it all out and feel amazing.
I love the visual you just said, pound the pavement.
Yes.
We need that on a shirt. I like that one.
Okay. We need someone to help us design t-shirts.
But I really feel like, because I started at school, they had some kind of little track thing, and I ran like 30 miles in a month, which was basically like a mile a day or something. And then that's when I found, like, for me, running was more of a mental escape. And then I had like a break in between, somewhere between there and again when I got older. And then I started working at Curves, which was
I remember that.
Yes, a gym for women.
Yeah.
And so they had like a little circuit. It wasn't weightlifting, but it was a circuit. The machines were on hydraulic fluids, and I really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the community that came along with that. And so I ended up going from a coach to an assistant manager there. And then I ended up working for the city here in Portland, Tennessee. And I got invited to get certified to teach the Silver Sneakers program.
Oh, that's cool.
Which was for the senior citizens.
Yeah.
And so I got certified in yoga and in their ROM, which was like range of motion. And then it was like a cardio thing, but it was like sitting in a chair and running fast, like in your seat. So I never did any actual lifting.
Yeah.
Until this will be my 8th year. So basically we'll just say 8 years ago. I had back surgery. And so it was a double back surgery. So basically, I went in on a Tuesday and I had to have a spinal fusion done. They took bone from one hip and went in from the front. And on the next day, they took bone from the other hip and went in through the back to do these fusions. And it almost killed me because I had anesthesia. There were two huge surgeries and they were back to back. And so my body just did not handle the anesthesia well. And I also had shingles. I came home with shingles on top of my healing. And so I was cut all the way around and with shingles.
You got hit hard.
I did get hit really hard. And depression has been something that I've had to overcome since my childhood. Like, it's always just been there.
Yeah.
And it was just like the enemy knows that that's a deep place to hit me. And I was just under attack with my body because my mind was still active and busy, but my body just couldn't keep up. I was having to use a walker to get around.
I remember that.
And I had sat in the chair. This was when that giraffe, April, was having her baby. That's all I was doing like every day.
Wow.
Watching and waiting for a giraffe to give birth. And then
that made me insane for a minute. And I was like, okay, stop.
And then there were eagle hens that I was watching and waiting for these eggs to hatch. And that was like what my life was consistent of for like 2 months. And I sat in the chair and I gained like 20 pounds. And not that I was big, because I've never been a big person, but I just had let myself kind of go. And so I just got very depressed as I sat there and continued to allow my body to go in the opposite direction. And one day I found myself feeling like a burden to my children, to my family, and my friends. And so I was sitting on a toilet because that's where, life happens, right? When you have time to just kind of sit there and think about things. And I found myself sitting there with a handful of pain pills. And as I went to the sink to get water to take those pills, it was like I looked at myself in the mirror and I could see God almost through my reflection looking back at me. And it was just like he spoke to my spirit and said, Amy, what are you doing? And so in that moment, I just decided to fight for my life because, yes, it was a difficult moment and it was hard, but it was funny because it was almost in that moment that God reminded me that I had done hard things in the past, and that this was something that I was definitely capable of doing as well. And so I just started setting small goals, and just every day I would walk a little bit more, and then I became able to walk without the walker. And then I found myself walking down the street, and one day I got caught under a tree in a rainstorm for like 45 minutes. And I went back home and I told my husband, I said, listen, I'm going to the gym. I know you're not a fan of it because he thinks it's like a hookup location, So if you have an insecure husband, ladies, or vice versa, it's not always about that, And at that point I told him, I was like, I found myself sitting, in the bathroom wanting to take my life with these pain pills. So this is not about you. This is about me. And I have to do this for me. And so for me, honestly, like my beginning of my gym fitness journey started out of fighting to get out of a depression. And I've honestly, since then, I've had 4 more back spinal surgeries, and every time it's gotten a little bit easier. And I just know that it was God the whole time because he knows our future, right?
Yeah.
And so he knew what that held. And for me, in order to be able to deal with and overcome the things that were headed my way, it was like he was setting me up. Because now I knew, like, going into it, it's like I need to surround myself with this. And every time I've had a surgery, it's like every time I'm like, okay, I know what I need to do. And so it's just sometimes when we face hard things, it's always good to go back and as a reminder that we have also come through hard things before in the past, and God's brought us through that, so He'll bring us through this too.
Yeah.
And so that's where my fitness journey, like, that I've been dedicated to for like 8 years now, started.
Can you imagine what you would feel like if you didn't start working out and you still had to have those back surgeries, and how far behind you would be?
I'd probably be dead, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, because it would have just been a hit after a hit after a hit, and I wasn't strong enough to handle that first one. I just don't know that I would have been strong enough to be where I am.
I mean, that's why I strongly, to my core, believe that physical fitness is everything. It's the new wealth.
It is. Yes,
the new wealth.
It is the new wealth.
It is the new wealth.
Because our thoughts, honestly, it trumps, in my opinion, everything we do. Like, everything we do is led by a thought.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't control anyone else, but I can control myself.
Absolutely.
And I can control my thoughts. But sometimes we get...
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, a lot for me.
And I feel like it takes practice.
Yeah, it does.
You know.
It takes a lot of practice and discipline, because you don't even catch yourself spiraling, do you?
Mm-mm.
And then you're like,
I
oh
think
my
now.
gosh, I went down a dark road really quickly or something, or down a different avenue I didn't want to go down. And it's like, I got to get out of here.
And what's weird is that you said that. I do catch myself doing it now.
Yeah.
I used to not catch myself. And it was almost like I was addicted to the spiral.
How do you stop it?
For me, it's just been getting into that relationship with Jesus.
Yes.
Because for me, it's been like a spiritual battle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure, like, if anybody's trying to heal without a higher power,
Yeah.
good luck. Because honestly, I've had to have Jesus in the middle of all of this too. And like I said, he met me that day in front of the mirror when I was going to go and swallow all those pills. And every time I have been to that place that's been that low, like, he has met me there. And it's like, Amy, what are you doing? You know, like,
Yeah.
And so I just have to have him, because I just can't without. So if you guys are like, I don't know what else to do, like, get you some Jesus. Get you some Jesus. All right. So there is also a secondary question to back that first question up. So I'll let you go. I feel like I've been talking.
No, but it's so nice to hear you talk. I can listen.
Oh, say no one to me ever. I love that.
I'm sure everybody here would agree with me.
I love you. Are you intentional about setting goals? And when you reach them, do you set new ones?
Yes. Goals to make you work harder so you can't get comfortable. Let's see. I used to have goals, and I know that I do need goals. Like, I could start with something small, and reading the questions, we get a sample. We sample each other's questions a few days prior to our podcast recording, and when I read that question, I was like thinking to myself, you know what? I don't have any goals for myself at the gym. I just go, I wake up, it's automatic. My routine, I go early in the morning because I love my mornings, but I go and I work out and I do the things. I lift the weights. I do the cardio. I come home and I do the stretching. And that's it. That's good enough for me. You know, I have a coffee and a piece of toast and I'm good to go. But I notice that I'm not advancing. Like, I can't do a pull-up, you know, on a pull-up bar. And I can't do, I'm now doing push-ups without a band on my arms and off my knees. But I can only do 3 in a row.
Don't play it. Some people can't do one. That's amazing.
I know, but yoga got me there.
Okay.
And so...
Hey, there's another shirt. Yoga got me there.
Yoga got me there. I love that.
Yeah.
But it's I mean, I could, and I don't know what mental block I have in my head that stopped me from making goals for myself, because that's all we want to do is advance forward, whether it be whatever personal goal and whatever we're interested in life. And I should be doing goals. So what I actually did this morning was, when I wrote in my journal, I said for the whole month of February, I'm going to be intentional about getting my core strength.
Okay.
And really focusing on that. So that requires, I ask myself, what does that require? Well, it requires going to the gym, maybe doing more ab exercises, drinking my water, cutting back on cookies and sugar. That's a big one for me. And just being really mindful, and just thinking, okay, this is what I really want to do. This is what I want to achieve. I'm envisioning it and what it looks like in my head. And thinking about, okay, well, these are the steps that I have to take to get here. And then it'll all work out. So February. At the end of February, I'll come back and let you know if I finish my goal. And if I don't say anything, someone call me out on it.
I'll be someone. I'll try to be that someone.
So that's my answer.
And then do you set new ones?
We're going to see how this one goes first.
Okay.
How about you, girly?
Yes, I used to be really big on setting goals, and I actually help do some training, and I think goals are very important, but I have also learned to not let goals drive me, because I have been like so impacted or hard set on reaching a goal that if I didn't reach a goal, it would almost be like I would beat myself up.
Yeah.
And so when I set goals, I want to try to start small and do something that's obtainable. So right now I'm recovering from surgery. Mm-hmm. And so my goal was to be able to try to run. I haven't ran since surgery. So Tuesday I was like, I'm going to try to run for a mile and see how that is. And, so set a small goal. And then today is Friday? So I was, this is pre-recording, but when we were sitting here talking, this was on a Friday. So today I was able to run my 5K. It's not a great time. So then I can say, okay, my goal is, last year I ran a 5K in 27 minutes. So that would be ideal for me to place in the Strawberry Stride.
Yeah.
Because I got first place in my age group last year with that time.
That's amazing.
And so this year, if I'm already 8 minutes behind and I'm thinking like that's in May, I need to work on that. So I'm going to set a goal and I'm going to set like maybe a minute faster or 2 minutes faster. I'll have to do some math, but figure out like what that looks like and how I can break that down into smaller steps to reach that goal. And then when I reach that goal, for me, my goals change based on things. So like once I can do this push up or that, then it's, can I go to a heavier weight? Can I add more reps? Like, what does that look like for me? But I feel like it's important that we are always being challenged or challenging ourselves. And if you're not somebody that challenges yourself, then make sure that you find people around you that do, or sign up for something like a 5K or a fun run or a mutter or something. That way you have something that you're constantly, I like to do like a Murph challenge the first of the year and then a Spartan race towards fall. And then that constantly has me like, I'm training. I feel like people are like, what are you training for? And I'm like, life.
Like really.
I'm in the best shape that I've been in despite all of my surgeries and everything and knocking on the door of 50. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
And so every day, like I'm fighting and training for my health and for my strength and my body is a temple, as the Bible says. And I just want to take care of what God has blessed me with. And I have to be careful not to put the gym before other things. I've had to work sometimes on that. If I haven't been able to, and I'm like, gosh, is that why I'm having so many surgeries? I get it, Lord, and I'm hearing you. It's okay for me to miss a week. It's okay for me to miss a workout. I used to like beat myself up, make up for it. So if it was a leg day and I missed it, the next day I'm like, oh, I'm going to do arms and legs. Like, we're going to make it up.
I've been there before.
Yeah.
It is stressful.
It's a mental block.
Yeah, you got to get over that obsession.
Yes. And so anything that comes before God or stealing our joy, we have to reevaluate and say like, is this that important? Or am I putting more thought or emphasis on my physical looks versus what God is trying to, heal me and make me healthier? And so really, I think once I saw a bicep pop in place, I was like, I'll bring it. And then I started chasing that muscle,
Yeah.
and then I kind of lost focus on, wow, look at how God has healed me, and look at the streets, and look at how he's done that. So now if anybody's like, wow, Amy, you're doing so good, like after your surgery or something, I'm like, God is good, and I try to make sure that I'm giving him glory for it, because I couldn't do any of this if it wasn't for his strength that he's given into my life. So, and I'm praying that my new mindset is going to keep me out of having to have more surgeries. So, especially close, like so back to back to back. So, yeah. So I think goals are important. The main thing is, like, if you're not even going to the gym, it's important to at least have a goal set to where, what are your goals? What do you want? Look at your overall big goal and then break that down and say, in a year, I would like to lose 20 pounds. So what can we do within 12 months to get us into that year?
Yeah.
So set smaller goals that are obtainable. And then if you're losing 5 pounds every month, you're also able to celebrate. So you need to be able to celebrate those wins along the way.
You should definitely celebrate. It makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah. So when you're like, I can do 3 push-ups, so your goal can be 4. Add one more. One more doesn't sound like it's that bad, like you're not too overwhelmed by it, but it's still challenging you.
Yeah, maybe I'll get 28 push-ups. Whoa, everywhere. You
can do it, yeah. So that would be my advice if I had advice on setting goals. Have like a big overall goal that's achievable. And also don't compare your body type to someone else's and expect to have results that they have, because we have to be realistic too.
Yeah.
So set realistic goals. It's like I have been disappointed because I've taken a magazine into hairdressers before, and I'm like, I want this hair, and they have like beautiful, wavy, thick hair, and I'm over here with thin, stringy, thin hair, and nobody is ever like, honey, that ain't gonna happen.
There's something funny that happened to me too at the gym when I went. So I thought I could custom design my body. So when I got myself a trainer, this was a couple of years ago, I said, I want my waist to be slim, and I want my hips and my booty to be out and lifted, and, kind of just lose a little bit of weight. If you don't know me, I am 6 foot and thin. I'm like athletic belt. So there's no hourglass to me. And it's like, you just have to go with your own body type, it's just like getting your hair and your nails done and stuff. You just got to go, but you want to be healthy for your body type as well. It's not about the appearance of the muscles and all that stuff. It's but what you're doing for your body, that's.
I think, and with that being said, is if we can come into it loving ourselves the way we are, that will take you so far, because your body's going to naturally just do what it's going to do.
Yeah.
And just look and appreciate and fall in love with that process. And so we're not going to the gym to be a different person.
Yeah.
We're just going to be a better version of the person we already are.
Oh, yeah. Yes, most definitely. And that's another, like, if you don't mind me stemming up from there, but, with the weight loss and stuff like that, while you're doing that, there comes this nasty little word called dysphoria. Did I say it right? No. Body dysmorphia.
Oh yeah, dysmorphia.
Yeah, where you're working out and you're taking care of yourself, and you're your pant size and your clothes size are getting looser on you. The scale's going down, and you look in the mirror and you don't see anything, and then you pick yourself apart, and that's like part of the comparing in your own journey. You got to think of where you were and where you're going and get out of your head. We can probably finish that part.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good. Well, and a lot of people, you have to have knowledge. So knowledge is power. And a lot of people don't get knowledge too. And a lot of times when you are eating the right things, because let's face it, nutrition is 80% of success. But also when you start to build muscle, muscle weighs more than fat. So as your body is changing, most of the times if you're eating right and you're lifting the weights and hopefully adding a little cardio into the mix too, you're going to find that you may go up on the scales because as your body fat drops, your body fat is going to come down, but your weight on the scale might come up. And that's just because as you're losing body fat, you're gaining that body muscle, which is a huge thing and it's worth being celebrated. So don't be disappointed in the scales, and also don't let the scales dictate or determine your success either. Because a lot of times scales can be your worst enemy.
Oh, I don't like the scale at all.
So I would say maybe you need a scale to make sure that you are on track, but you don't want it to become like an obsession.
Yeah.
And if you don't handle that well, then I would say once a week instead of every day.
I haven't stepped on a scale in months.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I just don't like them because I've ruined so many. I used to get like so inspired to work out and I get the motivation and I get going and I really work hard at it. And then I use the scale as my success. And when I see that it was barely moving and stuff and not paying to the attention to the fact of how good I feel and that my clothes make me feel a little bit looser. I mean, it was always about that number on that scale, which discouraged me.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I do anything I can to lose weight and I still can't move that number. So I might as well have that cheeseburger and that cookie, why not? It doesn't make a difference. I'm going to stay the same. So yeah, my best, I definitely stay off that scale.
Well, so for me, I do a weigh and measure every month, and I think it's important to keep you on track.
Yeah.
But that's also, for me, it allows me to, like I just said, if the scale is going up, but your body fat's going down, you gain muscle. And that's a good thing.
Stresses me out the same.
But I can let my clients know, or even myself, like, hey, if the scale's going up and your body fat's going up, like we need to make some adjustments. Something's going on with your nutrition, or a lot of times it just is a lack of protein, so it's also kind of knowing the things, but nutrition is huge on that. But yeah, definitely don't get caught up on the scale. All right, Kat, to kind of bridge off of that, we want to know, what is your favorite workout routine?
Oh gosh. My favorite workout routine is get up early in the morning, get to the gym. Each day of the week, Monday through Friday, I have designated days for each muscle group. So Monday starting with legs. Sometimes I throw legs in towards the end of the week too, with like shoulders or something. And I'll go and I'll work the muscle groups and I'll spend about anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes on a certain muscle group, and then I'll get and do cardio because I have a desk job. If I'm not in my studio shooting, I'm at my desk working, and I need to get as much walking in as possible, as cardio as possible. I take several walks up and down my road, and I walk at the treadmill just to make the extra initial, and then midday after I'm done with work and I'm about to do my afternoon activities, I do yoga for an hour. I stretch it out. I get limber, and then I'm ready to take on the rest of the day. And that's pretty much what I do Monday through Fridays. And then sometimes on Saturday mornings, I'll get up and do an early morning yoga routine. So, and that's it.
when in doubt, stretch it out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So I mix my routines up every 5 weeks. Try to keep it new and exciting. You also don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Yeah. It can get, what is the word? What did I say? Monotonous? Is that, am I saying that correctly? So you don't want to get like, once you're bored, you have to, you don't want to hit that. It's like getting stuck in a rut, as they say, or it gets stagnant. Like, so you want to mix things up a little bit. I really love probably more HIIT workouts. I like challenging. I like just moving. I like to move, and I like to keep things kind of.
I bet you like her.
I do.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, so it's like a hate-love relationship.
Oh, I do not.
I could not do tons of them, but it challenges me. I love like box jumps. So for me, the Spartan race is probably one of my favorites.
Oh, see, that looks least appetizing to me.
Just to be able to go and do it. It is just to be amongst all the other people who are excited about it, and just to be in that atmosphere.
Yeah.
And then just to like, I'm okay with knowing I can't do, like, my first year to do it, I couldn't do a rope climb. I'm like, well, for one, where am I supposed to practice this at? We don't have anywhere to practice. And so I even went to Hendersonville to a gym they had there one time for a session, and was trying to do their obstacle courses that they have there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can't do that all the time,
Yeah.
And so I was just like, that's fine. I'll just do the other things, and I'm going to celebrate the other things. And so I tried, and I couldn't do it, and that's okay. And also, if I had to give advice, try to do something, even if it looks intimidating. And if you can't do it, okay, you can't do it. But what if you can? You never know if you don't try.
That's right.
So it was really pretty cool. I didn't get to do it last year. I think it was because of surgery. I did have surgery last year, I think. But the year before, I did get to do it. And while we were there, we did it as friends. So I wasn't doing it for time. I wasn't being competitive. And I was just like, hey, I'm going to go and try to do the rope, because I couldn't do it the first time because I was doing it for time. And now that I'm not in a hurry, and guess what? I just like climbed up that thing like a little ninja. Like I was Spider-Man. I was like, who am I? And how did I just do that? I don't even know. It was amazing. And I was like, wow.
Maybe you were telling yourself you couldn't do it the first time. And so
well, I think it was because I was doing it for time.
Changes things.
And well, yeah, you're like under pressure to beat your time. Yeah. So it wasn't, but this last time I was like, just to take the time and see what I can do. Yeah. But I think you're right. I was probably in my head. Yeah. And so that was really cool. But so I really enjoy, I guess, like group things. I love like 5Ks, like running that, and that's kind of in a group. I guess it might be like the competition or doing it with other like-minded people.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I love the gym so much, too, is because honestly, even if it's somebody's first day or they're 12 years, 30 years in, we're all there for the same common reasons. Yeah. It's to be healthier.
Yeah.
And so, I think
and I think it's like, it's part of a community too. It's like, you become gym family. You, like everybody's from like different parts of the world or not the world, different parts of the town doing different things. And it's like at this one time, like whatever time of day that you go, everybody that goes at that time, it just becomes a community thing,
Yeah, that kind of plugs into our next question.
Okay, good.
It's and what are the real benefits of working out? Has it boosted your confidence and your motivation, or even inspired those around you? So I feel like that's kind of what you're talking about, is like you built a gym community.
A gym community. I have my regular workout crew that I work out with every morning. We all know each other by name. We walk in, we high five, no one's discriminated against, or, everybody's just kind of like family and accepting there. And that's the way you want it to be in a gym anyway, because everybody's is there for their own personal reasons, and everybody's going through a struggle. And I know, like, from going into the gym, it can be a hard thing to do. It can be a struggle, because everybody wants to stop and look when the new person's in the gym. And I can see that being, hard to deal with. But I got off subject. But my confidence, I don't know if it helped my confidence or not. I mean, of course, yeah, naturally it's going to help my confidence because I feel a little bit better and stronger. Sometimes I feel, oh gosh, sometimes I just feel like it is definitely it's an empowering thing because I feel strong. So like I feel like kind of like a Viking warrior princess,
Walker, you need that on a shirt.
walking through my village, and I've done my training. So like when war starts or something happens, I'll be on the front lines but that's the mindset I have when I walk in the gym. So maybe that's my confidence. I have no idea, but it does help with the confidence a bit. I don't know if it's inspired others, but I know that both of my children love to work out, and I don't know if that's because through the years they've watched me work out. So if anything, I maybe like showed them some good habits. So
I love that. That's huge. Like it matters to you, and now it matters to your kids.
Yeah.
And so you're not just, a lot of times we're like, don't do this or don't do that, but you're actually like, don't do that, and this is why, and it's important because I'm invested in it myself. A lot of times it was like, I remember, smoking and telling my kids, don't pick up this habit. It's nasty. And so it's like, why with a cigarette in my hand,
I know.
It's like, it's okay, but don't you do it.
Don't you do it, yeah.
And it was just because it wasn't necessarily that it was okay for me. It was just that I was caught in the middle of an addiction that I was trying to fight. We'll have to talk about addictions later.
Oh, yeah, that'll probably be a 2-3-parter.
Yeah. So, but for me, I just want to say, like, it's boosted my confidence. I think for me personally, being able to just look at myself in the mirror. Like, I've always struggled with just looking in the mirror. It's always been a struggle. And so for me, I want to ask a question that's not on here. So we'll talk about it in a minute, getting started. Like when we first came to the gym and first got started and being that new person that everybody is looking at, but just watching everyone and then me thinking, I could never be that. They're vain, because they look in the mirror. But it was because I had an issue with myself and the way I saw myself and the way I viewed myself was unworthy, unloved, not smart. Like I was such a mess. And I just to even look at myself in the mirror and just see all of the things.
It's hard, isn't it?
It was hard. And the more I realized, like, I need to look in the mirror because my form is important. And especially with spine issues, I don't want to just chance this. I need to have my form. Form is first most important in lifting weights, So just that has helped me so much because along the way, I have learned to have a relationship with myself in the mirror. And now I can see myself, and it's not that I'm admiring my muscle, but I'm also admiring the fact that I can look at myself with an attitude of, or love, like I can see myself like I'm loved. God has healed me, and look at how far I've come through his healing.
Right.
Look at that bicep. Yeah. Not saying, guys, that I'm like, on a stage, bicep big, but I'm just saying, like, I do have a little definition in my arm, and so when I'm seeing that in the mirror, it's been so much more to my confidence than I realized. And now that I've starting to help other ladies with their lifting, I've noticed the first thing I have to work on is I need you to look in the mirror. I need you to look at yourself in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And maybe that struggle that I have had to walk through was so that I would be aware of other ladies who also struggle. And I'm not even going to say that that's limited to women. I feel like some men who are coming out of sexual abuse, it's just something maybe we don't talk about a lot, but it is a real thing and it's out there.
Oh, yeah.
And, men have been beaten and they've been abused as well physically, and they've been cut down too. And sometimes the way a man might see himself in the mirror is just as hard as the way I've seen myself in the mirror. So for whoever out there is seeing themselves from I'm not good enough or I don't deserve to be seen, try to look at yourself through the eyes that God sees you through, because you are loved.
I love that. And just thinking about you talking about that, looking in the mirror, and you think about all your triumphs in life that you went through, and why me? Why am I here right now? Like, so many people have lost their lives, and they hadn't made it this far, and you just you've got the strength to pick yourself up and like create who you are, this being that you are right now, so strong, and you help people, and you take care of yourself. That gives you the strength so you can carry on. And sometimes it's okay to take that second while you're looking in the mirror and just admire your strength too, like in beauty for that as well, and just take it all in for a second. It doesn't mean you're vain or anything like that, but it just means, wow, I really did this, and I'm really doing this.
Yes, and it's hard work, and it's an admiration of that work.
It is hard work.
But if you're consistent, you do get those results.
Absolutely.
So, but just building that in the mirror, I think, has built my confidence, and it's helping me hopefully build confidence in other people as we go. So I feel like that's beautiful. Confidence is such a beautiful thing. It doesn't really matter how pretty someone is or even how ugly they are. If you're ugly, but listen, I'm just saying, and I know that's like,
you ugly.
I'm not saying like you're ugly, but like somebody might.
I mean, we could get in a whole topic about talking about what pretty is.
Well, let's say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right?
Absolutely.
But you can maybe not feel like you're an attractive person, but if you have a beautiful heart, and you share that and you shine that with other people, like that makes you beautiful.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, if you are the most beautiful person and you have the terrible attitude, then that makes you the ugliest person.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Like I'm just saying, like your beauty is within yourself, and that's going to radiate, and it's either going to like shine that on the outside, or it's just going to it can draw people to you, or it can push them away from you.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. That's shining from the inside out. That's why your skin glows and your smile so bright and your eyes shine. I mean, that's because you just feel it from inside. And then that just is the pure beauty right there, you know. It doesn't matter about, if you're a little bit whatever. Imperfection is what makes you beautiful. So
yeah. And we're all imperfect, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember? So I want to talk about like maybe the beginning.
Yeah, the
beginning. Do you remember your beginning? I don't know what gym you were at.
I've been in this town for 25 years. So I did start a gym. I used to go to Goodlettsville every morning when Zoe was just 2 years old. We'd just get up and go to. But I never really thought about it. Like, I never felt nervous or... What was the question? I'm just answering the question.
Like, the intimidation of... did you ever have that as you started?
I mean, sometimes. But then, again, like, through the health of recovery and stuff like that has taught me to get out of my head and stop thinking about myself too much.
Okay, so your gymtimidation is from your thoughts.
From my thoughts, yeah. So I would walk in, I'd be like, why is everybody staring at me? But wait a minute, should I look in the mirror? I have crazy socks on. I am 6 foot. Sometimes I wear really loud leggings. Of course people are going to look at me, I mean? And then I would be like, oh, they're looking at me. They're talking about me. So that would play in my head. And then it's like, they probably like, I'm not losing any weight or my body's not changing, so they're probably judging, thinking I'm just slacking. So these are the stuff that, and then, through my recovery and stuff has helped me to walk through the gym, look in the mirror and stuff like that by saying to myself, how rude of me to think that everybody is thinking of me. I mean, like, come on, am I that important? And so I'm like, everybody in the gym is worried about themselves and their own personal goal. And if you're looking at them, like, why is she looking at me? Look at this crazy blonde-headed woman walking in here like she's like Twisted Sister rock band, and and why is she? Same thing. It could be going back and forth. So it's just like the best thing someone ever told me was, it's none of my business what they are thinking. And and I just stay out of it now. And then I just go do my own thing. Sometimes people say hi, and sometimes people don't say anything to me, and it's okay with me. But that's how I got over it.
So you have a let them attitude.
I have a let them, and that's yeah, I live by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you do. So that's why I was like plugging that in. So for me, I think it looks a little different because I was very much nervous because I've never been really in the gym scene where there's going to be like a mix of guys and girls. I had been in a setting with elderly people and in a setting with all women.
Oh, yeah.
So this was completely different, and I had never lifted weights. And so, of course, I'm coming off of a walker. So my first thing was, I just need to learn how to walk.
Yeah.
But honestly, I didn't even know if I knew how to do a treadmill, And I was still vaping when I joined the gym. And I remember I met the lady who manages the gym. And as I got to know her a little bit, I just jokingly said, hey, Tabs, would it be okay if I vape on that Stairmaster? And we just became instant friends after that. And of course, she was like, no, you're ridiculous. But I just remember so long that I got on and I'm a creature of habit. I want to be on the same treadmill. Like, that's my treadmill,
Yes.
So I'm on my treadmill. And then as I'm on the treadmill, I'm looking at other people, But for one, it wasn't because I was trying to see who's there. I'm trying to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't really been in there. And then I noticed, like, oh, all the big weight people, the muscle heads are over in that, area. And then I'm like, look at all the mirrors. And then all of that starts because I'm walking for, a while to where my thoughts start running. And then I'm like, they're looking at themselves all the time. I get it now, but at the time I didn't.
Yeah.
So coming in, my tip is, like, if you're coming in, try not to focus on other people.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on your own self because, like I said in the beginning, everyone else had a day one. And so what we're looking at might be 7 years of work in front of us.
Yes. What was the question? I'm just answering the question.
Like the intimidation of, did you ever have that as you started?
I mean, sometimes, but then again, like through the house of recovery and stuff like that has taught me to get out of my head and stop thinking about myself too much.
Okay, so your Gymtimidation is from your thoughts.
From my thoughts, yeah. So I would walk in, I'd be like, why is everybody staring at me? But wait a minute, should I look in the mirror? I have crazy socks on. I am 6 foot. Sometimes I wear really loud leggings. Of course people are going to look at me, I mean, and then I would be like, well, they're looking at me. They're talking about me. So that would play in my head. And then it's like, they probably like, I'm not losing any weight or my body's not changing. So they're probably judging me, thinking I'm just slacking. So these are the stuff that, and then, through my recovery and stuff has helped me to walk through the gym, look in the mirror and stuff like that by saying to myself, how rude of me to think that everybody is thinking of me. I mean, like, come on, am I that important? And so I'm like, everybody in the gym is worried about themselves and their own personal goal. And if you're looking at them, like, why is she looking at me? Look at this crazy blonde-headed woman walking in here like she's like Twisted Sister rock band, and and why is she same thing? It could be going back and forth. So it's just like the best thing someone ever told me was, it's none of my business what they are thinking. And it's, and I just stay out of it now. And then I just go do my own thing. Sometimes people say hi, and sometimes people don't say anything to me, and it's okay with me. But that's how I got over it.
So you have a let them attitude.
I have a let them, and that's, yeah, I live by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you do. So that's how I was like plugging that in. So for me, I think it looks a little different because I was very much nervous because I've never been really in the gym scene where there's going to be like a mix of guys and girls. I had been in a setting with elderly people and in a setting with all women.
Oh, yeah.
So this was completely different, and I had never lifted weights. And so, of course, I'm coming off of a walker. So my first thing was, I just need to learn how to walk.
Yeah.
But honestly, I didn't even know if I knew how to do a treadmill, And I was still vaping when I joined the gym. And I remember I met the lady who manages the gym. And as I got to know her a little bit, I just jokingly said, "Hey, Tabs, would it be okay if I vape on that Stairmaster?" And we just became instant friends after that. And of course, she was like, "No, you're ridiculous." But I just remember so long that I got on and I'm a creature of habit. I want to be on the same treadmill. Like, that's my treadmill,
Yes.
So I'm on my treadmill. And then as I'm on the treadmill, I'm looking at other people, But for one, it wasn't because I was trying to see who's there. I'm trying to see what they're doing. Because I hadn't really been in there. And then I noticed, like, oh, all the big weight people, the muscle heads are over in that, area. And then I'm like, look at all the mirrors. And then all of that starts because I'm walking for, a while to where my thoughts start running. And then I'm like, they're looking at themselves all the time. I get it now, but at the time I didn't.
Yeah.
So coming in, my tip is, like, if you're coming in, try not to focus on other people.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on your own self because, like I said in the beginning, everyone else had a day one. Mm-hmm. And so what we're looking at might be 7 years of work in front of us.
Yes.
So we have to just focus on our goals. What are we here for, and try to let that carry us. But then I found as I got more comfortable on the treadmill, I got bored. And then I'm like, oh, I really need to get off this treadmill, but I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So then that's the intimidation of the weights and the machines. And so when I said earlier, like, knowledge is power, I started looking into workout programs. And because for one, I didn't want to hurt myself. But for two, I was like, I don't want to stay here forever. So you have to decide too, like, are you happy where you are? Because at some point, stagnant water gets stinky, right? You don't want to drink that water. So if you want to have like new results and you want to keep things moving and then be challenged, you might have to get into new waters and get into new territories. Mm-hmm. So then I started just doing a little bit of research, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do, like, I created my own little program, but I got in the back room and I hid because I hid from everybody because I don't know what I was doing. And so I got a little in the room, but I still did it. I did it where I was still uncomfortable, but okay enough to do it. And then as I started doing that, and I got like, okay, this program is almost done. And now I really want to lift those weights, because the more I'm starting to see all of these muscles, I'm like, I wouldn't mind having, a little bit of muscle definition and toning up. I had lost my 20 pounds in 4 months. So at this point I was like, I lost my body fat. So now it's time I went to like tone. And so for me, I hid in the back room, and then I again started creating some workout programs. And I found like I enjoyed building programs too and learning knowledge and things on working out. And so then I started creating programs, and then some of my friends started seeing that I was getting better and it took me like 8 months to see that bicep come in. It took it a little long.
Oh.
And I kept asking people, how long does this take?
Yeah.
I know it's pain.
It's not the destination, it's the journey.
Yes.
baby.
So you have to have it. If you build it, they will come out and take it.
Yeah.
So, if you're consistent and you're putting in the work and you're eating the things, like the results will follow, but it's not going to happen overnight.
No.
And then when I finally got the result, like I saw that and I was like, oh my goodness, my program that I created is working. And then my body has just like continued to do that. And so it's really cool because everyone I've trained, like including myself,
And
like,
me.
yeah, it's all been based on these programs that I have been able to create. And it actually took me after a surgery while I was recovering 4 or 5 years ago. At first it was like, I'm selfish with this and I don't want to share it, my time, because I don't want it to take away from my love of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was like, God spoke to me. He was like, you can help other people, and so now it's really amazing. And I don't even promote anymore because if you want me to help someone, you will send them my way. And I'm not doing it. I do have a little fee, but that helps keep people locked in and invested. But I feel like it's very reasonable for what, for a 5-week program. We're talking $20.
Were you expecting me when they said send them my way? And they sent me hard.
I really don't. I mean, I'm just like anybody. But I tell you what, and this can come into, I told you guys, like, I'm wanting to do an episode on money because I've been really, my heart's been changed through money in a big way too. And within my training, I did have like 12 people I was training at one time while still working.
Wow.
And so I was being very blessed financially.
That is really incredible.
It was. But what happened was I started taking my focus and putting it on like this extra money that was coming in. And then it was like, oh, what if I lose a client? Because if people give up on if they need to cut something, the first thing they typically cut is their fitness stuff, because it's not necessarily a necessity in life. It's kind of an extra thing for most people. And so then when that started dwindling down a little bit, because there's seasons for everything, not everybody's going to be like, I'm dedicated to you for the rest of my life, And so then it was just like God had to reveal to me that you're supposed to be helping people. It's not about you, the money. It's supposed to be about the money.
Yeah.
And so that's why like 2 or 3 years ago, I was like, I'm just going to step back from pushing it. And he will give me what I need when I need it. He will send me who I need when they need them. And it has just been so much better mentally for me. And it's amazing to honestly get to help other people with it, with whatever it is. I just love helping other people and to know like, okay, God, you have blessed me through this. And so now what does it look like? Now maybe I can be more intentional and say, okay, I'm looking for a mission trip, like to come up in October. So maybe now, since I have these however many clients, I can at least take half of this and put it towards my mission trip.
Yeah.
Like let me try to think of something I can do for the greater good.
Yeah.
And that way my heart stays in the right place too. So I don't know. I feel like I got way off track with that.
No, that's okay. I mean, just talking about that and, doing it for money and versus doing it for joy. I mean, I feel like we can have like a whole topic of conversation on that on another podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, I not only with your gym and working out, but I feel that way with my photo shoots too, because it's like I would just take any job, even knowing it would benefit me, just for the money.
Yeah. Well, so it's almost like finances trumps passion.
Yeah, and that's
purpose.
not the reason why I started.
Right.
And that's why here recently I just had to like do it. I've been turning down photo shoots. If I don't feel like, and it's not a personal thing. I mean, for the client, it's just for me. But if I'm not getting joy out of it, you don't want me to take your pictures.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just protecting you. And I know, and then that kind of is like, well, you should be doing it for, you know, like, I don't want to go do teenage stuff and do weddings and get paid for it and go like, this is a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, it's just,
it's almost like filling that purpose bubble.
But I want to do it. I want to talk to the people. I want to meet the people. I want to photograph them and make them.
Yes.
And
that's me. I want to help them.
Yes.
You know,
but I have to live too.
Right. Exactly. That's balance too.
And it's just, it gets complicated. And sometimes, like your brain, you get down a rabbit hole and you're like, oh, wait, I got to pull back just a little bit. But anyway, so back to your topic where you were kind of, intimidated, starting in the treadmill, going to the back room and then working at if you were going to the gym, like, at that time, what would have been easier if someone would have just came out and like introduced themselves to you when you first got there? Did you have any issues with that? Or?
Yes. And it's funny because what I have found is in most places, and this is most people, this is me personally, I'm closed off. I know it's hard to imagine that, but if I'm in a new setting, I'm uncomfortable. If you know me, like, shut her up.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe that.
I know, but that's how I am. I thought you were saying get something off your lip.
Well, I do that, but I thought it was my lip. That was fine. Sorry, I should have made eye contact.
Yeah. I was like, when I had a lip crunchy. But no, there was actually a girl, and I can't remember her name. Her arms and her back looked so good. Like I'm not saying like I had a weird girl crush.
No, but it's admiration. It's okay.
Yeah, to look at her, and I was like, her body build was about the same as mine. And I was like, that is my goal. Like, I want those arms and I want that back.
Yeah.
And so one day, I started knowing some people as they would come in and I would talk. I am a talker if I feel comfortable and I start seeing it. I've learned, like, sometimes if you want to have a conversation, you have to start it.
Yeah.
You know? Yes. So if you're mad because nobody's talking to you, are you talking to anyone?
That's so hard to do.
You know, but you can't be mad about it, right?
No.
That's what I'm just saying. Like, so many times, like, it's like, I want to be mad about a situation, but I wasn't willing to take the first step either. So how can I be mad about it?
I know.
And the worst thing is you put yourself out there and then they're not very friendly. And then so what? You know, you don't want to talk to that person again.
Yeah, you don't want to be friends with someone who's not friendly.
I mean, but that's okay. Yeah. At least you tried and you know. But I've never had anybody to just be rude to me. You know, you can kind of feel vibes off of people anyway.
Yeah.
So anyways, one day, as I was just starting to go out into the big part, because I had started building like a weightlifting program.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't care if I'm out here with these 5 pounds. I'm going to come out here with these 5 pounds.
Yeah.
And then it was really funny because then it became to where I'm like, are you on that bench? You know, like, then the ballsy me started showing up the hey, are you going to be there long? Like, I need that. So then I became territorial. Like, that's my bench.
That's funny.
And then one day she was over there and I had never spoken to her or had a conversation with her. And one day I was like, hey, can I ask you a question? And I just initiated the conversation. And I said, how long did it take you for your arms, for your back to look like this? She said, oh, I've been doing this for about 4 years. And I mean, I bet my mouth probably just hit the floor. And I probably looked like a puppy who was crying. Like, I was like, 4 years? Like, what? Honestly, in 4 years, I feel like I had surpassed her definition.
Wow.
Like, within 4 years. It did take me right about 4 years. And it's really crazy too, because right around that time, like, this person I haven't seen in the gym since then.
Oh,
And it
wow.
was almost like she was just there to inspire me. So you never know who you're being an inspiration to either.
Yeah.
And so it always makes somebody feel usually good to receive a compliment. This is what I've learned. So if you're going to approach somebody and tell them that their arms look really good and how long did it take, they're going to be more than happy.
Oh, yeah.
But you can come and ask them about it because they've worked really hard for that,
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm almost like you. Like, I feel like I'm about maxed out with my definition. I'm not trying to look like I'm getting on a stage. Like, I'm maintaining, and sometimes I might do a cut just to, tighten things up a little bit more. But for the most part, I can eat a donut or a cupcake.
Yeah.
And
cookies for me.
cookies. Pizza.
I guess bread now.
Yeah, pizza. Like, I ate a lot of pizza. Last night, we had pizza. We had French fries.
That was so much fun tonight.
So, I mean, it's like I work out, but it balances me in life to where I'm able to enjoy those times of splurging.
Mm-hmm.
I still try to keep a really balance, like a check of like, I'm 80% good versus 20%, I might have fluid, like I'm having a cupcake or I'm having a brownie. I'm not eating 12 of them, but it's portion control. But I don't withhold myself from having the things that I enjoy in my life either.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you gotta live a little.
Yeah.
Bit. What's the point?
Right. So I'm just like, if you're wanting to get started, just go in and start where you can start. This is my tip. Don't compare yourself to other people. Set realistic goals based on your body frame, your body type. Do research on the machines. Most of them are labeled. Just take a little snapshot of the name of the machine. Go home, do your research, how to use it. If you don't want to read it out, that's a good idea. Gym, and ask people in the gym to help if they are somebody that's consistent and they're always in there. They probably would not mind helping someone else.
Absolutely not.
So,
I mean, I don't smile a lot. My son told me I need to smile more in the gym, but I don't smile enough. But as soon as you say hi to me or say something, I'm like, my smile takes up my whole face and all you see is gums and teeth. So I'm just letting you know that anybody in there should, and also another thing is everybody in there is secretly cheering you on too. At least I feel that way.
Yeah. You are with family. Like so we go to Celebrate Recovery. That's our recovery. We have our family there. We're all there.
Oh, yeah.
with the same common goal and purpose. When we go to church, we're deepening that relationship there with Jesus. Like we're all there for that same common. When we go to the gym, we're there for, to be the best version of ourselves, to get that. For me, it's like therapy session in, and then physically, like I just get energy and I feel so much better. And so you're with other people that are trying to get those same things. Like you're with your family, and the more you go, the more you get connected and you start finding like, hey, I have built relationships and friendships with other people. And then it's just like, move, that's my bench.
Yeah.
So just hang in there. Don't let the intimidation stop you from being the best version of yourself, because everyone has a day one. So
day one, yes.
Yeah, everyone has a day one. So where are we at on time? Oh, we did really good today.
Yeah, we did good.
So do you want to just end by talking about your recovery a little bit, since, the main thing is like we're always recovering from something. And so today we kind of talked about recovering from intimidation in the gym. How are you? How are you feeling today?
Oh gosh, I'm feeling all right. I'm just a lot with the recovery for me. I feel like I'm in my small group session right now. I feel like I'm on the spot. Let's see, for me right now, everything is just very routine and figured out for me, an hour by hour kind of play. And sometimes I need that because I never used to have structure. I never used to care about my time. I was never a good steward of my time. And I I made that a priority. And so that looks very structured daily. And that helps me keep me calm and keep my mind going, which helps with my sobriety. Well,
So you just kind of touched on where we said setting goals, and you said, I really don't. It sounds like you just said you have like an hour to hour, like,
oh, I do. It's
yeah,
very structured. It's almost like school or college based here.
I love that.
You get up in the morning, you do your meditation, you leave and you get ready to do your physical education at the gym. You have a little bit of a recess there. You come back, you get ready, you cook breakfast. It's breakfast time, you come back, you do a little bit of editing. But I like that but also it also stresses me out a little bit because if I fall behind or if and I have to learn with recovery and stuff like that, that not every day is going to go as planned and that we just kind of have to take it as it goes. So I'm trying to like stay structured, but not be so, not so strict about it or, like if something falls out of place, it's okay. Take a deep breath. Everything is fine. And
there's time to unwind.
Yeah. So, and then working out at the gym and stuff like that keeps my brain healthy, which gives me the strength when I do have hard days or days that kind of just are a little off kilter. So it's just the mental health is what.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I feel like you just kind of walked us through like what your day, like what a day for your recovery looks like.
Yeah.
So I'll just, because I feel like I have a routine. I think routines are good.
They're very important. Like everything's a routine, whether it's helter skelter, kind of like crazy off the wall. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but you know what I mean? Like it's a routine.
Yeah.
And then, even if it is a routine, if like get up every morning and do your meditation, go to the gym and stuff like that, you pick up your phone, you lay in bed, spend 20 minutes looking at, apps and stuff like that. It's still a routine.
Yeah.
It's just your routine.
Exactly.
But you have to have a good routine. And to me, well, I mean, not saying that any of them are not good routines, but to me, my routine is the best.
Well, yeah, and I think that's the thing is, so my routine looks a little different.
Yes.
Because I have to get out and go to work as to where you are here at work at your house. We're at Kat's house today.
Yes.
So my routine looks like Monday through Thursday because we're off on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And so I start my day Monday through Friday in a prayer call. There's, I think there's 5 of us that are on this prayer call. So we start with, like a gratitude. Everybody says there's something good from the day before, and then we do prayer requests, and then we pray, and then we read our Bible verse, and then usually there's like 2 follow-up verses, and then we chat if we have time, and then we go to work. And so I started setting a timer on my phone now at lunchtime, so at noon it's my time to remember to pray. So that if I'm at work or in my car or wherever I'm at, I'm able to add in a little extra time of prayer. And then at night, I have a 9:00 reminder to do meditation and solitude and then pray at night. And then when that time comes, I try to put my phone away. I do not like my phone as much anymore. I've had to disconnect from my phone a lot. Mm-hmm. And so for me, when I set apart that time that it's my solitude, it's getting my mindset. And you have really helped me want to spend more time in solitude because that connection that you're like, that mind connection, it's really important. I feel like for me to go into prayer to have my mind clear. And so I've been doing that every night. And I'm working on remembering a Bible verse, but it's kind of long. So it's a little bit, but I'm working on it. And so for me, that's kind of what most of my days look like. On Friday, everything is still pretty much the same. I'm just not going to work. And then after work, I'll go to the gym. Monday through Friday, I work out 5 days a week. So I always make time for that. And then I like my family, so I like to try to fit time in for them too, somewhere, whenever I can. And the grandkids, I feel like they're getting older. So they're 6, 5, 5, and 5, right?
Oh, they all turned 5?
They did.
They were all 4, 4, and 4.
Yeah. No, they are 4, 4, and 4. I'm sorry. I don't know. Who am I? Where am I? This is a true thing.
They all had a birthday.
I'm glad you know. Oh my gosh. Yes, this is how my mind works. I don't know who I am or where I am. Yes, they are all 4. I'm so sorry. So, they're going to turn 5 this year, but yes, now that they're getting older, it's nice because I can tell them, like, go get in the car, and they can actually go and get in the car. And I'm not carrying the whole house with me to take them somewhere. So, yeah, I just try to also make sure that I'm finding time for my family on the weekends, too. So, well, thanks, guys, so much for joining in today. I love our time that we get to spend with you.
Yes.
If there's something that you struggle with in the gym or getting started, if you want to leave us a comment in the comment tab below,
be sure to hit the follow tab so you never miss a show.
We will answer your questions, though, if you have questions that you want to leave for us. And we are not by any means professional health people. I don't even know what is.
Yeah, we're not a therapist or counselor or anything like that. We're not certified. We just know from trial and error from our own experience, and hopefully that we can help you guys along your journey as well. Yes, and if you have any questions about how you can turn motivation into discipline, and because I know that sometimes motivation, fades out so quickly, especially when you're starting a new thing. Just leave any kind of questions and comments you have. I'm sure one of us will have an answer.
Yes, and we want to hear from you guys.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Well, I guess we'll jump off here. Thank you guys for jumping on here for another episode of
Talk on the Wild Side.
Until next time, guys, just be blessed and we'll see you soon.
Love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
We leave you with this today. Love the things you love more and hate the things you hate less. Click the follow tab so you never miss an episode, and comments help boost our viewings. So let your fingers do the tango as you help us reach others.